Why are these criminals hyper-aggressive? Do they need therapy? Cool drone found on the ground. Maybe he could use it to fly? No. Man is stupid. I introduced Subway Surfers to keep the watch time up while on stream, allowing man to beat him crazy style. Could he be the ever so reliable pea shooter? Man was finally able to find a way to get atop the bridge in the middle, letting him progress and finally go meet Santa Claus. Man was so excited to meet one of his enemies, so he jogs his way across the whole bridge, refusing to use whatever the grapple boost the voice in his head keeps telling him to use. And once at the end, is stupid and jumps off the front, straight onto the ice below him, and then into frozen water, giving him hypothermia, further reducing his intelligence. Once he recovered, he finds a church. Great. And then beats up people outside of it. Even more great. And it seems the power of the Holy Spirit manifested itself inside this goon, causing him to levitate in place. Well, isn't this strange? But it seems going to church was a mistake, as it is surrounded by fences, causing man to panic that he might need to grapple to escape. Thankfully, he was able to climb this grave and building to escape this confinement. Now man knows not to go to Ham Church ever again. And then he was back to wandering for way too long, to the point he started crawling on all fours for some reason. I mean, I knew this was a younger version of man, but I didn't think he was still a baby. But a simple roll was enough to return him back to his original state. Yahoo! And even more aimless running around, man was finally able to make it to the Santa Claus meet and greet, finally being able to show his appreciation for never getting the gifts he wanted. For context, man is an orphan. And as you may know, Santa doesn't care about orphans, so man has never gotten a single gift, so man kills him, being too graphic to show on TV. Man, being young, is addicted to his phone and watches some Family Guy funny moments to take the edge off committing murder for the first time. But it seems someone is jamming the signal, so, understandably, man wants it fixed now. Little did he know how challenging it would be for a simple man to pull this off. He tried climbing this elf, though he was no help to man. He tried climbing up the theater sign, but to no success. He tried to climb this sign as he did in Ham City, however, the sign is now embedded into the wall instead of protruding. He even climbed up all by himself to this Santa statue. However, the Santa statue knew what man did to the real Santa, so he did not allow man to proceed up him to get atop the building. It wasn't looking very bright for man. It seemed there was no way for man to easily climb up and traverse these buildings, so in defeat, he decided to take a quick nap. Once awakened, wait a moment, man is now on top of a ledge of a building. This is rather strange, and there's some scaffolding man can climb too, as well as an elf. And after a few minutes, man was up, but this time the elf was even more rude, not allowing him to just climb up a few more feet to make it higher to get on top of the Gurk building. Why is it called the Gurk building? Because I was stupid and called it Gurg instead of GCR, and it later became Gurk. That's it. I would like to shout at Adrian Kerspel for helping me plan out and achieve getting atop this building without grappling, as man was really close to doing this, but while live, they were able to help me achieve what is usually a simple task. After way too much trying, we were able to conclude that man can fall with style in order to reach this very inconveniently placed fire escape ladder, and once atop, jump to the neighboring building, and then jump back to reach the roof. From here, man then needed to make one last jump before carefully maneuvering around the outside and finally make it atop of the Gurk building. Finally, after only a couple of hours, man did it without a grapple. However, the nerd is back, making man so furious he pulls out a normal gadget that should totally be an orange to unlock this gate, before hacking the terminal to make him shut up. But this itself was not enough to fix man's jammed signal, so he changes his sights to go after the flightless tuxedo bird to fix this signal. And after much more wandering to find the other signal, man finds it at the casino, and man loves gambling, so he decides to gamble his life and respawn capability for much longer than it should have taken, respawning over and over and over, none of them spawning him atop the building he so desired to reach to turn off the jammer. So once again, after all this trial and error, man had no choice but to glide. And of course, him being impatient immediately tries to check his phone to see if it's working, but it's not, meaning there is yet another jammer for Manor to hammer to fix the situation. But it seems luck was on Man's side today, as he was able to easily reach this one without any problems. All there were 3 gunners to take care of, one of which might have had scurvy because a single citrus fruit immediately incapacitated him.
Oh, what? What killed him? What killed that guy?
And with the final jammer jammed, Man's phone finally is up and running, but after one YouTube short, Man is already bored. So he decided to raid a ship, easily getting atop it by freezing to death and climbing up the outside. All that's left is to die and then try again, actually taking out every gunman that is there to defend their boat. Tactically being smart and taking the time to climb up the ship first to get to throw his oranges at the sniper in a spot Man cannot reach, allowing him to easily take out the remaining gunners without any issue.
Oh, we got him. Okay, we're good.
Yahoo!
Easy. No problem.
After this victory, Man heads deeper into the ship where he meets his first knife thug, but instead of learning how to properly deal with them, he just beats the crap out of them, teaching them that no weapon can harm Man the way his fists can harm them. And the next room goes extremely smoothly due to no one being able to compete with Man's immense speed and raw unga bunga strength, Man not letting them land a single hit on him. Deeper in, Man accidentally glides before realizing only smart people do that, so he tries to see if he can indeed cross the gap without gliding, as his instincts keep making him want to glide, but after a few minutes, Man was able to find a way to land on this barrel, and then boom, he has crossed the gap without gliding. Good job, Man. Now kill them. Another barrel jump allows Man to not have to pull the boat with the forbidden claw, but after this, he tried jumping through this gap with no success. So unfortunately, Man will have to use the claw to pull his way through here as well as open the path, and yet another to go up it. Unfortunate. Deeper in, it seems as though Man would indeed need to use a few more grapples, but fortunately for Man, the corners are still broken in these games, so he can somehow climb here as well as here, finds a strange spot that he can hang from, but it does not help in any way to getting atop this final part, so Man once again needs to use a grapple. And then a claw to open this, whatever it is, and it seems Man has accidentally stumbled into a secret fighting ring, where Man meets the leader of the ring, the toughest of them all, the goon champion, Electron. By far the toughest enemy Man has encountered. Nothing worked. Oranges, dodging, it seemed the fight was impossible. So Man pulls out his ultimate attack, hit them with exactly 7 oranges, dodge over top of them to throw them off balance, and a swift kick to the back of their head. A move Man swore to Fred he'd never use unless under the most dire of circumstances. And now it seems all of the other contestants are here to congratulate Man for this monumental achievement, all wanting to give him high fives and fist bumps to the face, as well as one trying to give him a chair, in which they accidentally drop it on the floor, destroying it. And after this short congratulations, Man continues his search for the penguin by interrogating this goon. Never mind. Man, can you stop doing that? He may have actually had been useful. And then he was stupid and fell into water. And of course he can't punch through this 12-inch thick wall of ice. He must use his hair gel instead, leading him to this room. Oh boy.